Good day. Welcome sa discussion natin in general chemistry. So for today, we will discuss about the atoms, molecules, and ions. So before we proceed, let's have a history about atoms. So the atomic theory of matter was proposed by Democritus. So he was known as the father of the atom. So he had the idea that he said that matter cannot be broken down to its smallest solid particle called atoms. So that time, he called atoms as atomos. It is a Greek word meaning indivisible. Ibig sabihin, hindi nahati. Because atom is the simplest form of matter. So his theory was rejected by Aristotle because Aristotle believed that matter can be subdivided indefinitely. And then later on, we acknowledge Democritus and we concluded that atom cannot be broken down to its smallest solid particle. No? Hindi na natin siya pwedeng hatiin. So, later on, si Democritus yung pinaniniwalaan natin. So, this is a history about atom. No? So, after ni Democritus, sunod-sunod na yung mga nag-propose kung ano ba talaga ang itsura ng atom. So, nag-start tayo with John Dalton. No? So, kay John Dalton, he proposed the solid sphere model or the billiard ball model. So, Dalton also theorized the Dalton's law of atomic theory. So, meron din siyang ganon. So, in 1803, John Dalton believed na ang itsura daw ng atom ay isang spherical model lang. And then later on, according to J.J. Thomson, in 1904, so J.J. Thomson discovered the electrons. So siya yung nakadiscover ng electrons, and he proposed the plum pudding model where the electrons, so naniniwala siya na ang electrons daw ay nakapakat sa isang solid sphere na positively charged. No? So para lang din siyang kay John Dalton, pero na-discover niya kasi yung electrons, and then he believed na ganun yung itsura ng atoms, na may mga negatively charged particles na nakapakat dun sa positively charged particle. No? So ang itsura niya ay mukha siyang plum na nandun sa may pudding, or mukha siyang chocolate chip cookie na yung chocolate chip ay nakapakat doon sa may dough, di ba? Next is yung kay Ernest Rutherford. So, kay Ernest Rutherford naman, so ito yung kanyang model, no? Tinatawag na nuclear model. Now, si Ernest Rutherford, siya yung nakadiscover ng nucleus, and he discovered that nucleus has positively charged particles. No. So, ginamit niya yung tinatawag natin na gold foil experiment para mapatunayan na meron tayong positively charged na concentrated doon sa may center ng nucleus. No. So, next is yung kay Niels Bohr. So, according to Niels Bohr naman, he proposed the planetary model. He believed that electrons orbit around the nucleus. No, so naniniwala siya na nag-orbit daw ang mga electrons dun sa may nucleus. No, parang yung kaya siya tinawag na planetary model kasi parang sa solar system. For example, the sun is our nucleus, and then the planets around the sun is the electrons. No? He believed that nag-orbit ang mga electrons in a fixed manner or fixed na pag-ikot. No? So lastly is yung kay Erwin Schrödinger, no? Or the quantum model. So Erwin Schrödinger states that electrons do not move in a certain paths around nucleus. So he debunked Niels Bohr. No. Erwin Schrödinger believed that the electrons acts like waves, no? And there's a probability that electron can be found here in here in this cloud, no? Tinatawag niya na electron cloud, and he believed na ang electrons ay matatagpuan so anywhere in that cloud, no? So clouds of probability, yun yung sinasabi ni Erwin Schrödinger. So let's talk about the Dalton's atomic theory. Nabanggit ko naman na kanina to, no? Yung kay Dalton's. So for Dalton's atomic theory, so meron siyang mga postulates. First postulate is he said that each element is composed of extremely small particle called atoms, which is true naman, di ba? For example, oxygen atom and then nitrogen atom. No. And then each atom have different physical and chemical properties. Magkakaiba sila. No. They are unique with each other. So second postulate, the atoms of one element are all identical to each other. The atoms of one element are different from the atoms of the other elements. So, for example, kung oxygen atom siya, pareho lang siya sa ibang oxygen atom. And then, for nitrogen atom siya, pareho lang din siya with another nitrogen atom. So, third postulate is, he said that atoms cannot be created or destroyed during a chemical reaction, and atoms of one element cannot change into atoms of another element. Ibig sabihin, hindi tayo nagkakaroon ng biglang susulpot at wala tayong mawawala. Sa isang chemical reaction, for example, we're reacting hydrogen plus oxygen to produce water. No? So, kung mapapansin nyo, the number of the hydrogen here is equal with the number of hydrogen here, and then oxygen here is equal to the number of oxygen here. Ibig sabihin, walang nawawala, walang nadadagdag, walang nababawas. No. So ganun ang sinasabi niya sa third postulate niya, which is true. And then lastly is compounds are formed when atoms combine together. Compounds and reactants contain the same total number of the particles. Kung ilan yung reactant natin, ganun din dapat yung nasa product, katulad nito. No, kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng balancing ng equation. So, what are the laws of chemical combination? First is the law of constant composition. So, in a given compound, the relative numbers and kinds of atoms are constant. No, constant, ibig sabihin, hindi siya nababago. Constant yung composition natin. The next is law of conservation of mass. So the total mass of materials present after a chemical reaction is the same as the total mass present before the reaction. Ibig sabihin, nako-conserve natin yung mass, no? Because each atoms have masses. For example, for yung chemical reaction natin kanina, H2 plus O2 to produce H2O. Diba? Kaya nga natin siya binabalance. No? Kung ilan yung mass niya nung nagsimula tayo, pagdating natin sa product ay yun din. No. So for example, the hydrogen, ang mass ng hydrogen natin ay 1 gram per mole. At ang oxygen naman is 16 gram per mole. So ibig sabihin, kung meron tayong dalawa dito at 4, so ito ay 4, diba? 2 times 2 ay 4, at ito naman ay may dalawa tayong 16, diba? 16 is 32. So ang total natin dito is 36. No, ganun din dapat dito sa kabila. So, dito sa kabila, we have 2 oxygen. So, kung meron tayong 2 oxygens, 32 yan. At 2 times 2 nito ay 4. Meron tayong 4. Diba? So, kasi 1 gram per mole lang naman yan. Diba? So, 4 is 36 din. Ibig sabihin, yung mass na meron tayo sa reactant ay nako-conserve natin pagdating doon kay product. Pag nagkakaroon tayo ng chemical reaction. So next is the law of multiple proportions. If two elements A and B combine to form more than one compound, the masses of B can combine with the given mass of A are in ratio of small whole number. So ito lang din yun. No? Ang bottom line lang sa conservation of mass ay yung mass na meron sila ay nare-retain natin. Pero in law of multiple proportions, yung proportions naman nila. No. And then, of course, the composition. So, let's talk about the parts of the atoms or the subatomic particles. No. So, Ano ba ang mga parte ng atom? So, meron tayong nucleus. Ang nucleus ay matatagpuan sa pinaka-gitna. And inside the nucleus, we can find the neutrons, which is neutral in charge, and then the proton, which is positively in charge. And then, of course, kung mapapansin nyo, yung yung cloud na yan, that is the electron, which is negatively charged. Now, let's talk about atomic number and mass number. So, what's the difference between the atomic number? The atomic number, or tinatawag din natin siya na Z, no, si atomic number Z is the number of protons in an atom of any particular element. At si mass number naman ay tinatawag natin na A. So, this is the number of protons plus the neutrons in an atom. Meaning, to calculate the mass number, we should have the formula A is equals to proton plus neutron. No, kasi sum siya ng proton at neutron. And how we write? No, so paano natin siya isusulat? So we use the chemical symbol or sometimes X. No, so the chemical symbol and then the proton number, the mass number is yung nasa taas. And then yung nasa baba naman is yung atomic number. No. Again, the proton number, kung ilan yung proton, yun din yung kanyang atomic number. Now, let's talk about isotopes. So, isotopes are atoms with identical atomic numbers but different in mass number. Ibig sabihin, kapag iba yung kanilang mass number, ibig sabihin, there is a different number of neutrons din. No? Kasi the proton number ay hindi nag-change. No? Kasi ang isotope, again, atoms with identical atomic numbers. No? Ibig sabihin, kapag nabago yung kanilang proton number, mababago din yung atomic number. And then the identity ay hindi na yon. Ibang element na yon. Hindi na natin siya matatawag na isotope. So this is an example of an isotope. The carbon isotope. So carbon, we have a carbon 12, the carbon 13, and then the carbon 14. For carbon 12, paano natin siya isusulat? Ang carbon 12 ay ito rin, C12 and 6. Since 6 ay yung kanyang atomic number from the periodic table. And then this one is carbon 13 and then 6 dito. And then this is carbon 14 and then 6 dyan. Yan. So, dito lang sila sa taas nagkakaiba-iba. At yung mga neutron number nila, ilan yung neutron nito? So, we have 6 neutrons for carbon 12. Paano siya naging 6? Because A is equals to proton plus neutron. So, we have to find the number of neutron. So, we have given the mass number, di ba? So, eto lang ay mapupunta to sa kabila. So, N is equals to A minus proton. So, ang A natin ay 12 minus 6. So, 6 yung neutrons niya. Diba? So, ganun din dito sa kabila. Ito naman ay 13 minus 6. Kaya siya 7. 7 neutrons. At ito naman ay 14 minus 6. Kaya siya 8 neutrons. So, let's have a sample exercise. No? So, magnesium has 3 isotopes with mass numbers of 24, 25, and 26. Write down natin yung complete chemical symbol for each. So, for letter A, this is the answer. So, magnesium, ayan, saan galing yung Mg na yan? That is magnesium. That is the symbol of magnesium from the periodic table. So, una daw natin ay yung mass number niya ay 24. Diba? So, 24. Yan. And then, dito yung kanyang atomic number. So, kayo na maglagay kung ano yung atomic number and then try it for 25 na mass number at 26. Now, for letter B, try nyo rin para ma-practice kayo, how many neutrons are in an atom of each isotope? Ilan daw yung neutron? No, edi kung neutron, you should try it. So, A is equals to proton plus neutron. So, derive the formula. Ito ay mapupunta dito. So, the N or neutron is equals to A minus P. Sir, paano po namin malalaman yung yung nakalagay dito. And then, look for the periodic table. Tingnan nyo kung ano yung atomic number ni magnesium. And then, do that also for magnesium 25 and magnesium 26. So, get nyo yung buo nito at kung ano yung sagot na sa letter B. No, sa letter B, yung neutron nito. At yung neutron, yan. At of course, yung neutron nito. So, try nyo lang. And if ever you have questions, feel free. So, another sample exercise. So, this one, take a screenshot of this one and this will be your activity. No, para ma-practice din kayo. This activity is, of course, recorded. Recorded ito. Now, let's talk about the ionic and covalent compounds. So, in chemical bonding, ano ba ang nangyayari kapag chemical bonding? Sa chemical bonding, nagkakaroon tayo ng bonding between two or more atoms. Diba? So, para ma-form yung bonds. For example, yung kanina pa din, the formation of water. Diba? Or ng water. Or ng H2O. Diba? So, sa chemical bonding, nagkakaroon ng bond si hydrogen at si oxygen to form water. So, ganon. So, meron daw tayong two types of chemical bonding. First is the transferring electrons from atoms of one element of those another to form ionic compounds. Ang ionic compounds, ang bonding na meron sila ay tinatawag natin na ionic bonding. No, so, ionic compounds are neutral. That is, they possess no net charge, typically forms when a metal reacts with a non-metal. So, paano ba ang nangyayari kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng ionic bonding? Ibig sabihin, kailangan meron munang charge yung dalawang atom natin. Kapag daw ang isang atom ay positively charged, ang tawag sa kanila ay cation. At kadalasan ang cation ay mga metals. No? So, kung titingnan niyo yung periodic table at alam niyo i-determine kung sino ang metal at non-metals, kapag nakita kayo ng metals, kadalasan sila ay cations. So, cations loses a certain number of electrons. Kaya sila nagiging positively charged. Kasi again, electron is negatively charged. No, ibig sabihin, pag nawala silang na negatively charged, magiging positive sila. No, and then the anion, so ang kadalasan ng mga anion are non-metals. Konti lang naman yung non-metals natin sa periodic table, such as yung oxygen, nitrogen, sulfur, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, so and so on. No, konti lang naman yung mga non-metals natin. So madali lang naman silang tandaan. And then non-metals, they gain electrons. No, lost by the metal atoms. Ibig sabihin, yung nawawala na meron tayo sa cation ay napupunta doon sa anion. Kaya nga transferring of electrons yung nangyayari. At once na magkaroon tayo ng transferring of electrons, sila ay magiging negatively charged. Ibig sabihin kasi, nadagdagan tayo ng negative charge or ng electrons. So the second way is the sharing of electrons between atoms of different elements to form covalent bond. No? So, covalent bond forms when electrons are shared between atoms. At kadalasan sa covalent bond, nangyayari to between two non-metals. No? So, we have two types of covalent bond. So, first is the non-polar covalent bond and then the second is the polar covalent bond. When we say non-polar covalent bond, whenever two atoms of the same element bond together, this is formed. No? Kadalasan kasi nangyayari. For example, for hydrogen, so H and then H. No? Two atoms of the same element bond together, so this is a non-polar covalent compound. No? So, meron din naman tayong mga non-polar covalent compound na iba yung kapartner pero it depends on their electronegativity to determine the polarity. So, that's a separate topic about polarity. Next is, so later on, madidiscuss din naman natin yung polarity. Pero we should stick dito muna sa mga basics. No? Next is the polar covalent the polar covalent bond. So this is formed when electrons are unequally shared between atoms. For example, ang pinaka-common example natin ay yung water. No. Si water ay may mga lone pairs dyan ng electrons na meron kay oxygen. So, meron kasing unequal sharing of electrons. Yung electron density natin ay papunta doon kay oxygen. No, yung direction niya ay papunta doon. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng polarity. Nagkakaroon tayo ng partial positive at partial negative na side. No, kaya nga siya polar. Kasi may positive, may negative. Kaya ganyan yung nangyayari. Unlike dito kay hydrogen na wala. Kasi equal yung sharing ng electrons nila. So nagka-cancel out yan. Diba? Kaya siya non-polar. And then later on then madidiscuss natin yung about sa electronegativity kasi interconnected siya with the polarity. So let's classify the type of chemical bond formed by combining of the following elements. So ano daw chemical bond? Is it a covalent or ionic? So first is hydrogen and fluorine. So both of them are non-metals, diba? So more likely that is covalent. And then number 2 is sulfur and strontium. Strontium is a metal and sulfur is a non-metal. So ibig sabihin, ang ma-form nila ay ionic, and then hydrogen and nitrogen are both non-metal, so more likely covalent yan. And then potassium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. So ibig sabihin, more on ionic yan. So covalent, ionic, covalent, and ionic. So ito yung sagot dito, ito ay dito, ito ay dito, at ito ay dyan. So how do we write chemical formula? So in a chemical formula, element, symbols, and numerical subscripts show the type and number of each atom present in the smallest unit of the substance. So we have types of chemical formula. First is the molecular formula. The molecular formula shows the exact number of atoms. Ibig sabihin, kung ilan talaga sila, yun yung pinapakita natin. No. So for example, hydrogen. So H2. Ibig sabihin, we have 2 hydrogen. And then for H2O, we have 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen. And then for ammonia, we have 1 nitrogen and 3 hydrogen. And then for methane, we have 1 carbon and 4 hydrogen. Ngayon, ano na ba ang kinaibahan ni empirical formula? The empirical formula tells us which element are present in the simplest whole number ratio of their atoms, but not necessarily the actual number of atoms given in a molecule. During a chemical reaction, ang pina-follow natin of course ay yung molecular formula. Ngayon, ginagamit lang naman natin si empirical formula to show the simplest whole number ratio ng kanyang formula. So for example, the molecular formula of hydrogen peroxide or H2O2. So ano ba ang molecular formula niya? Again, the simplest whole number dapat buo, ratio of their atoms. So paano natin kukunin yung ratio ni H2O2? So by dividing this by 2 also. So this is the molecular formula. So what is the empirical formula? The empirical formula will be HO. So paano naman kapag si water? Si H2O. Diba si H2O ay molecular formula niya. So ano naman yung kanyang empirical formula? So there are cases na kung ano yung molecular formula niya, yun na rin yung kanyang empirical formula. Why? Because we cannot ratio this one. Kasi kung i-ratio mo siya by 2, kasi may invisible 1 dyan, di ba? Kung i-ratio natin siya by 2, this will turn into H1 or H lang O 0.5 or 1/2, di ba? O hindi naman yun pwede kasi whole number yung kailangan natin. So mali yan. Paano naman sir kapag ni-ratio natin siya with 1? Eh di yun lang din yun. 2 divided by 1 is 2 and then 1 divided by 1 is 1. So ito lang din yun, di ba? So ibig sabihin, kung ano yung molecular formula niya, yun din yung empirical niya. So next is the structural formula. The structural formula shows the number of atoms and the bonds between them, that is relative, replacement, and connections of atoms in the molecule. So later on, the structural formula, magagamit natin to kapag nag-Lewis dot structures na tayo. So, for example, for hydrogen, H2 yan, di ba? So, ito yung connection. Yan lang yung pinapakita. And this is H2O, indicating that the 2 hydrogen is connected with the oxygen. And then the 3 hydrogen for ammonia is connected with the nitrogen. And then the 4 hydrogen is connected in the methane part, dun sa may carbon. No. Remember that hydrogen can only form one bond. No, ibig sabihin, isa lang ang kaya niyang kabitan. Hindi tayo pwede magkaroon ng isa pang hydrogen dyan. Mali na yan. Kasi dalawa na yung magiging connection niya. So, balik tayo sa writing the chemical formula. So, the subscript of the cation is numerically equal to the charge of on the anion. No, so ginagamit natin to for ionic compounds. No, yung may mga ionic bonding. And the subscript of the anion is numerically equal to the charge on the cation. So, again, kapag nagkakaroon tayo ng gantong ionic compounds, no, or nagfo-form tayo ng ionic bonding, again, the net charge should be 0. Kailangan ang net charge natin ay 0. So, eto kasi ay kino-compute. Pero, may shortcut naman dyan. Diba? For example, we were going to combine aluminum 3+ and then oxygen. Diba? So, or the oxide ion. So, kung mapapansin nyo, parehas silang may charge. No? Ito yung cation mo, since yan ay positively charged. Ito yung anion mo, which is the negatively charged. And then, paano kapag pinagsama na natin silang dalawa? Pag pinagsama na natin silang dalawa, it will form Al2O3. And as we can observe, D3, so ito, disregard natin yung mga charge na yan, since dapat maging neutral yung in charge, di ba? So, yung 3 nito, ni aluminum, ay mapupunta kay oxygen. And then from superscript, magiging subscript. And then the oxygen, the 2, ay mapupunta doon kay aluminum. And from the superscript, magiging subscript. So that's the simplest way to explain that. So, dapat tanda rin natin yung trends for ionic charges. Ba? Remember that the group 1 element or the alkali metals including the lithium, kasi si hydrogen din naman yan metal. No, pero nandiyan lang siya sa group 1. So, including the lithium, the sodium, the potassium, the rubidium, the cesium, and then the francium, ang charges nila ay positive 1. And then the group 2 is the alkaline earth metals, the beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. Those are positively positive 2 yung charge nila. No? And then, lipat tayo sa kabila. So, this part, bakit 0 yung nakalagay dito? Because this group is yung tinatawag natin na inert gases or noble gases. No? Ayaw nilang nakikipag-bonding. Kasi, later on, sa octet rule, mapag-aaralan natin kung bakit hindi sila nakikipag-bond. No? Kung bakit 0 yung kanilang charge. Pero meron tayong mga special cases dyan. No? And then later on, madidiscuss natin. So, dito muna tayo sa mababaw. And then, kung mapapansin nyo, the halogen group, halogen group, the fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, sila ay negative 1. Pababa yung mga yan. And then, the oxygen group, the oxygen group, the oxygen, sulfur, and selenium, ang mga charge nila ay negative 2. And then for nitrogen group, the nitrogen, and then the phosphorus ay negative 3. And then as we can see, meron tayong mga elements dito, itong part na to, na kailangan yung tandaan. No, mga metals kasi yung mga yan. No, at meron silang fixed na ionic charge. For example, for silver, positive 1 lang yan. And then for cadmium, positive 2. And then zinc is positive 2, gallium is positive 3, and aluminum is positive 3. And then yung mga elements na nasa may purple block na yan, iba-iba na sila ng charge. No? Then later on, madidiscuss natin why. So, how do we name inorganic compounds? So, we have types of naming of inorganic compounds. So, first is the binary ionic compounds or yung tinatawag natin na type 1. So, yung nandito kanina, itong mga to ay magagamit natin for type 1 na naming. So, how do we name them? So, binary ionic compounds contain a positive ion or the cation which is written first in the formula, and then the negative ion or the anion. And then, how? So, naming type 1 binary compound. So, first rule, the cation is always named first and the anion is second. No? So, sa may grupo na to, so, ibahin natin yung kulay. Etong part na to, itong mga to, those are your anions. Lagi silang pangalawa. At, yung mga to, so, ito, at itong part na to, those are the cations. No. So, mauna si metal, and then pangalawa si non-metal. So, how do we name them? So, second is a monoatomic, meaning one atom. Cation takes its name from the name of the element. For example, sodium or Na+. No. Ang tawag lang sa kanya is sodium ion. No. So, ito ay Na+ or sodium ion. No, kasi kapag sodium yan, wala tayong charge dapat. No, kapag may charge, sodium ion. The next is the monoatomic anion is named by taking the root of the element name, adding IDE. Kukunin lang natin yung kanyang root. For example, for chlorine, no? Si chlorine ay Cl, di ba? Ngayon, kapag siya ay naging ion, magiging Cl negative na yan. At ang pangalan niyan ay chloride, ginamit natin yung IDE, ion. And then, when we combine both of this, we remove the ion. Again, how do we name? The first is, the cation is always written first. So, sodium chloride. So, that's the name. So, these are other examples. Sorry. So, for NaCl, yan, sodium chloride. For Ki is potassium iodide. For calcium sulfide, ay calcium sulfide. And, paano yan? Meron tayong napansin, di ba? So, sir, bakit ito ay calcium 2 plus at ito ay 2 negative? Pero pagdating dito sa formula natin ay calcium, ay CaS na lang siya. Again, our goal is to not have a net charge. Since these are both 2 in number, so magsisiro yan. No, kaya siya naging calcium 1 at sulfur 1. Pero in this case, for lithium nitride, yan, syempre yung 3 nito mapupunta dito. Diba? Kaya siya naging lithium 3N. No, at yung 1 ay invisible, hindi natin siya sinusulat. And then calcium bromide, cesium bromide, and then the magnesium oxide. Ganon din yung kay magnesium oxide since both yan na 2. No, kung 3 yan, ganon din. So, next is naming type 2. No, binary ionic compounds. The type 2. So, many metals, particularly the transition elements, kung babalik tayo kanina dito, yung mga nandyan sa may purple na yan, no, karamihan ng mga nandyan ay mga transition elements, especially the D block elements, yung nasa gitna. No, or yung tinatawag natin na B group, can form more than one ion, each with its own particular charge. So, for example, we have chromium. Ayan. Mapapansin nyo, si chromium, meron tayong chromium 2 plus at meron tayong chromium 3 plus. Kasi they have multiple oxidation state. No, they have multiple charges. 'Di ba? So, kung titingnan nyo or i-observe nyo yung periodic table nyo, ganun din doon. 'Yon. So we have two types of naming. Type 2 na binary ionic compounds. First is the stock system. So in stock system, we use Roman numeral now to indicate the charge. So this is the one that we are using these days because ito yung widely accepted na ngayon, yung stock system. Kasi it is more easier to name them by using Roman numeral. So what is an example of a stock system nomenclature? So this is, for example, the chromium, the chromium 2, and then the chromium 3+. So ganito yung name niya. So kapag chromium 3+ siya, ito siya. Chromium na buo, open, parenthesis, and then Roman numeral na 3, since yan ay 3, diba? Tas and then close. So ganun din kay chromium 2+, and then so on. For cobalt 2+, cobalt 2. Cobalt 3+, cobalt 3. Copper plus is copper 1 yan, di ba? So copper 1. And then copper 2+, and then copper 2. And then iron 2+ is iron 2, di ba? And then lead 2+ is lead 2, lead 4 plus is lead 4. Ganun lang. So it is more easier. Next is the classical or common system nomenclature. So ito yung ginagamit natin nung araw, no? So, the ion with higher charge, kapag mas mataas yung charge niya, compared doon sa isa pang ion na form niya, is, ang ginagamit natin ay IC or IC, no? And then, kapag mas mababa naman yung charge ay US. For example, for chromium. So, ang chromium 2 ay chromous, at ang chromium 3 ay chromic. Kasi mas mataas yung charge ni 3 kaysa kay 2. Diba? Kaya IC tong isa. And then for copper is cuprous and then cupric. And kung mapapansin nyo, letter U yan. No, may mga tinatandaan tayo kapag common name. Such as for iron, hindi siya ironous at hindi siya ionic. Siya ay ferrous at ferric. Si lead is Pb, so yan ay plumbous at plumbic. And then sa mercury ay mercurous, mercuric. And then si tin ay stannous at stannic. Hindi siya tin kasi dito tayo nagbe-base sa kanilang formula. So last is the type 3 or the binary covalent compounds, no? So ito ay different din kasi kanina yung type 1 natin ay naming ionic compounds na may fixed na charge. Yung type 2 ay for transition metals na ionic. So si type 3 ay mga covalent naman. So how do we name covalent? No, again, kapag covalent, two non-metals are forming. So how do we name? First is sorry. So the first element in the formula is named first using the full element name. Kung sino daw yung nasa unahan, siya yung mauuna. Since pareho silang non-metal. Next is, the second element is named as if it were an ion. So katulad lang din nung kanina ng sa type 1 at type 2 natin. The second element, basta kapag pangalawa siya, meron siyang IDE. No, root name and then the IDE. Next is the number 3. Prefixes are used to denote the numbers of atoms present. Ano ang prefixes? Ang prefixes ay yung dinadagdag natin sa unahan ng pangalan ng mismong element natin. And then, depende yung prefix na gagamitin natin kung ilan yung present na atom. For example, kung isa lang, we name that mono. Kapag dalawa, di. Kapag tatlo, tri. Kapag apat, tetra. Kapag lima, penta. Kapag anim, hexa. Pag pito, hepta. Pag walo, okta. Pag siyam, nona. And then pag sampu ay deka. Ito ay kinakabisado. So, fourth one is, the prefix mono is never used for naming the first element. Ang mono daw, hindi natin ginagamit kapag yung element natin ay nauuna. Or sino yung first element natin, hindi natin siya ginagamit. For example, for CO, no? Ang pangalan niya ay carbon monoxide. The O is the oxide or the oxygen, and then the C is the carbon. Hindi siya monocarbon. No, kasi yun yung rule. So these are the examples. For example, the N2O is dinitrogen monoxide. The NO is nitrogen monoxide. So para lang siya yung carbon monoxide, di ba? And then NO2 is nitrogen dioxide. N2O3 is dinitrogen trioxide. N2O4 is dinitrogen tetroxide, and N2O5 is dinitrogen pentoxide. Yun. And then these are their common names. No, for dinitrogen monoxide, nitrous oxide, and then nitric oxide is the common name of the NO. So next is the polyatomic ions. No, so the polyatomic ions are kinakabisado to. No, so it must be memorized to name the compounds containing them. So polyatomic ions are special names. No, special names sila. At kung ano yung name nila doon sa table, may table kasi yan sa periodic table, yun din dapat yung ginagamit natin na name nila. Kapag ginagamit na natin sila sa naming, kapag nagkakaroon na sila ng bonds. No? So when two or more of the same polyatomic ion are present in the formula unit, that ion appears in the parentheses with the subscript written outside. So for example, ammonium, no? Ammonium and then sulfate. No, so how do we combine them? 'Di ba ang ammonium ay NH4+ at ang sulfate ay SO42 negative. Paano kapag silang dalawa na pagsasamahin natin? Gumagamit daw tayo ng open and close parentheses. So again, the charge of these two na sa may SO4 natin ay mapupunta doon kay ammonium, 'di ba? Kaya siya ammonium sulfate. And then naglalagay daw tayo ng open and close parentheses to indicate. No, kasi bakit? Kapag sinulat natin siya as NH4, tapos naglagay tayo ng 2 dyan at SO4, mali na yan. Ibig sabihin, we have 42 hydrogen. Kaya tayo naglalagay ng open and close, naglalagay tayo ng open and close parenthesis. No? Ibig sabihin, meron lang tayong dalawang NH4. Then the SO4. So, give the name and the formula of the compound formed from the following elements. Bigay daw natin yung name at yung formula. So, for letter A, the name is rubidium bromide. Why? Kasi papalitan natin ng ID ito. At ano ang kanyang formula? The RbBr. Why? Because rubidium is Rb+, at bromine is IBr negative. So for sulfur is ang charge niya ay S2 negative. At si barium ay barium 2+. So ano yung name? The name will be barium. Sir, bakit nauna si barium nakalagay dito sulfur yung nasa unahan? Because barium is your metal. 'Di ba? Kaya siya dapat yung mauna. So barium sulfide. And then BAS. Kasi pareho silang 2. Next is calcium fluorine. So calcium is calcium 2+ at si fluorine ay F negative. So the name will be calcium fluoride. And then ano yung formula? CF2. So that's it. So that's the answers. So for your practice, so paki-add to sa assignment part. So kasama yan. So answer nyo lang yan. So ito ay complete nyo lang yung table. So kailangan to ay written. Hindi siya dapat printed ha. Written nyo siya ipapasa. Written tapos pipicturean and then sisend sa Google Classroom. And then ito naman, so for part 2, write the formulas of the compound produced in the listed ions. Pagsasamahin nyo lang to. And then, for example, itong Na at Cl, ano yung magiging product niyan? And then si Na at si O2, ano yung product? Na and then OH, ano yung product? Na and then SO42, ano yung product? Na and then PO4, Na and then NO3, so dito ay NH4 at Cl. So, dyan yun, and then, and so on. No? And then, for the third part naman, name nyo daw yung compound or give the correct chemical formula. Yan. So that's it for the discussion in general chemistry. If ever you have questions, feel free to message or comment. So and that's all. So thank you.